Some mega mansions are worth millions, but some are haunted by far higher costs. A California heiress trapped in endless construction, a home built over gallows in San Diego, and an Iowa murder scene frozen in time. Each of these places has reported encounters that defy explanation. What really happened inside America's most haunted estates? The answers begin where wealth and tragedy collide. In 1886, Sarah Winchester purchased a quiet farmhouse on the edge of San Jose and began an extraordinary project that would last until her death in 1922. Over the next 36 years, the property grew into a sprawling Victorian mansion with more than 160 rooms, twisting hallways, and staircases that climb straight into ceilings. Doors open onto blank walls or sudden drops, and windows peer into nothing but more walls, a maze shaped by nearly 4 decades of constant building. Preserved floor plans and Santa Clara County records confirm the relentless pace and the bizarre features that still puzzle visitors today. The Winchester House curator said, "The original floor plans show a house in perpetual motion, with new rooms and odd angles appearing year after year, unchanged since 1922. While many believe Sarah Winchester was driven by fear of vengeful spirits, the only certainty is the architectural labyrinth she left behind. Reports from visitors and staff describe footsteps echoing in empty corridors, sudden cold spots and shadowy figures glimpsed in the corners, claims that remain, like the house itself, impossible to fully explain. In 1857, Thomas Whaley laid the first bricks for his family's new home on a plot in Old Town San Diego. The ground beneath was already infamous. Just 5 years earlier, it had hosted public executions, including the hanging of Yankee Jim Robinson in 1852. Whaley, a businessman drawn by opportunity, knew the land's reputation, but pressed ahead, building what would become the city's first brick house. The Whaley family's years inside were marked by heartbreak. In 1885, Violet Whaley, Thomas's daughter, took her own life inside the house after a failed marriage. Family ledgers and San Diego City records document both the construction and the tragedies that followed. According to a Whaley House historian, the home served as courthouse, store, and theater for early San Diego, but sorrow lingered within its walls. Today, visitors and staff report seeing Thomas Whaley's figure on the staircase, a silent presence that seems to tie the city's violent past to the family's private grief. On a quiet night in June 1912, the small town of Villisca, Iowa, became the scene of one of America's most haunting crimes. 8 people were killed as they slept: Josiah and Sarah Moore, their 4 children, and 2 young guests. Their lives were ended by a single axe. Over a century later, the white frame house where the murders occurred stands much as it did that morning. Restoration efforts have kept the rooms, narrow hallways, and simple furnishings close to their 1912 condition. A yellowed front-page headline from the Villisca Review still echoes the shock: 8 murdered in their beds. The Villisca Historical Society says preserving the house honors the victims and reminds us of the tragedy, not just the mystery. The case remains officially unsolved. No one was ever brought to justice. Visitors and investigators report unexplained voices, often described as children calling out, along with faint knocks and whispers captured on EVP recordings. Guests who stay overnight have described sudden chills and moving objects, accounts that, while unverified, add another layer to the chilling silence that fills the house each night. In 1796, deep in the heart of Louisiana, the Myrtles Plantation rose on land worked by enslaved people whose names rarely appear in the surviving ledgers. The grandeur of its columns and wide verandas was built on forced labor, a reality documented in property records and bills of sale that survive in local archives. Against this backdrop, the legend of Chloe began to circulate, a story about an enslaved woman said to have been punished and killed on the property, her spirit rumored to linger still. Historians caution that no record confirms Chloe's existence, yet her story echoes the real suffering endured by those forced to live and work here. One guide notes, "The plantation's history is inseparable from the lives of the enslaved people who built and maintained it." The most persistent tale centers on a mirror in the main house, where handprints are said to appear that cannot be cleaned away. Guests and staff also describe fleeting figures on the upstairs balcony and faces caught in old photographs, claims that for many blur the line between memory and myth. In the late 1800s, the Lemp family rose to prominence in St. Louis. Their fortune built on the success of the Lemp Brewery. The mansion they called home stood above a network of limestone caves used to store barrels of lager in the cool, dark earth below. But prosperity gave way to tragedy. Between 1904 and 1922, 4 members of the Lemp family died by suicide within the mansion's walls. St. Louis city records and probate documents trace the family's decline alongside the brewery's collapse, as prohibition and personal loss closed in. The caves, once a symbol of innovation, became part of the mansion's haunted reputation. According to the current manager, guests come for the history, but many stay for the stories, for piano music at night, for doors that slam on their own, and for the sense that the past has not quite let go. Today, the mansion operates as a restaurant and inn, drawing visitors who hope to glimpse a shadow or hear the echo of a note from the piano that, by all accounts, should be silent. These homes still draw crowds, blending history with unresolved fear. As long as doors remain open, the past keeps whispering. Some houses never truly let their stories rest. Share your thoughts below.